General, we are discovered.
Good.
Wait! Guys! It's a trap! Retreat!
I'm not built like other men.
Generals gathered in their masses. Move along now!
Those in power only see me as a brute, unfit for higher office.
Just like witches at black masses.
But I follow in the footsteps of Alexander the Great and Caesar.
Evil minds that plot destruction.
If you look down, you'll see a surprise. Once you see it, you will always want it.
Sorcerer of death construction.
I must warn you, I will not lead a second in command. I will win by fire. I am destined for greatness. I found the crown of France in the gutter and placed it atop my own head.
Ashes where the bodies burning.
You want to be great, but you are nothing without me. Say it.
I believe I speak for all of us. We will all sleep again without this vermin.
Welcome to the latest film club, and it's Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. Links are in the show notes, including an article on 6 of the best books on Napoleon that I've written, if the film piques your interest, as well as other links. I've got a bonus episode coming out soon when I get Napoleonic historian Adam Zamoyski's reaction to the film, so please do subscribe so as not to miss out. Please share, and rate and review. This is the last film club until January next year, when we'll be doing Conspiracy starring Kenneth Branagh and Stanley Tucci. But until then, I'm going to hand you over to me talking Napoleon with Tim Hewitt. Tim, welcome back. Film Club, Napoleon.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure. And listeners, so Tim and I managed to get an advanced screening of Napoleon. So we got out, I got out my review quite soon after, but we're only doing this recording actually well after the early screening. But it felt very fancy to have gone to another.
Well, you're being bombarded with invitations now, aren't you?
I am. So so Napoleon, I mean, before we went in, there were already rumblings in the historian community. So I wanted to mention this to you, Tim, because this is probably not a world you get that your only access to that is through me, I think.
Access through,
what historians think about things.
Oh, well, yeah, but the thing is that I was actually aware of it anyway because of, I saw headlines.
Yeah.
I saw,
but they were made by Ridley Scott, weren't they?
Yes. Well, exactly. That was my intro into the rumors or the what was written by historians, because the first headline I saw was Ridley Scott in quote saying these historians who are saying that it's historically inaccurate need to get a life.
Yes, well, so we'll get on to that.
That's how I got into it. Yeah.
So I think he made 3 separate comments about historical accuracy and historians. So I won't. Some listeners may be aware, some may not. But just briefly, as you say, first of all, anyone who complains about historical inaccuracy needs to get a life. Is his first comment. Second, how do historians know? Were they there? And then I think the third one was the first 2 books on Napoleon were probably got it right, but all the others, they made it up.
Right.
Or made shit up. That might be the comment. One of the 2, same meaning. So that's and that has, those 3 comments have caused a huge amount of upset amongst historians, both academic and I guess there's the other term is popular historians. This is then going down a rabbit hole of who thinks who's a historian, which I find extremely tedious.
Yeah.
If you write books on Napoleon, you're a historian, doesn't really matter. Anyway, so some care, some don't. I take a view that Ridley Scott did this to get more attention and to get more people to watch his film. And if that means more people want to learn more about Napoleon, that means more people buy books on Napoleon, and that would make me happy.
Very, very true.
So I don't think it really matters. I think you get a lot of pearl clutching amongst historians, and their precious discipline has been traduced by this clumsy filmmaker who's come in. But if you take my view is that he's an artist, he's creating art. It's not a documentary.
No, I think this is the thing that it's always the jumping off point. It's not a documentary. These films aren't documentaries. So to think that you're going to the cinema to watch a film directed by Ridley Scott to have a history lesson is a bit daft. I don't know. Maybe it's because, if it's called Napoleon. So you think maybe in the back of your mind, so I'm going to learn all about Napoleon. And, there may be aspects to it, aspects of history, are accurate and whatever, but it's an interpretation. You've got to remember it's an interpretation. Was there this much backlash? Well, I don't know if it is backlash, to be honest, but was there this much attention when Braveheart came out? I mean, Braveheart is hogwash it's a great film, I think, but it's not in any way accurate.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But no one goes, oh, I now know all about William Wallace and exactly what happened. But you get an idea of the character. Napoleon, I think you get an idea, maybe, or an interpretation. It's an interpretation. So,
yeah, and so a historian would probably come back and go, well, I understand all that, but when you take actual liberties with the truth and for example, and we'll get into most inaccurate scene, but Napoleon is in a place when we know he wasn't, he was somewhere else.
Yes.
Now, so a historian would go, well, that is wrong, and you shouldn't put that in a film that's meant to be about a real person.
Or you put a title card at the beginning saying the following events are not historically accurate.
Yes. Which I don't think he did, actually, did he?
No. I mean, you could go based on a true story, because based on
historical events.
Yeah, something. I mean,
because
I suppose you could.
Then,
yeah.
But yeah, so historians might say that, but I would then counter again saying, well, if they showed Napoleon won the Battle of Waterloo, then fair enough. But I don't think he made any. It's littered with historical inaccuracies. It's a historical car crash. However, I don't think there's any moment in the film where he takes such a liberty that it changes the general narrative of Napoleon's life, i.e. it was, glorious, if you were French, glorious heights to crushing defeats,
like killing Hitler in a cinema in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
It's not that sort of liberty.
No, there's nothing like that in there. And I think people may also be upset with the fact that Josephine, who is played by Vanessa Kirby, Joaquin Phoenix plays Napoleon, of course, the fact that she's, I think, 14 years younger than Vanessa Kirby is, whereas Josephine, I think, was 6 years older than. So there's maybe that, but I don't know. I think Vanessa Kirby played it in such a way that she was the maturer of the two in the relationship.
Yes, I would say certainly.
And so I'm a little bit less upset about that, but I can see why people would be. Yeah, she was 6 years older than him.
I guess the thing is that coming from someone like who I'm not a historical expert, but I guess I go, and I'm not an expert in Napoleon. I go into a film and as I'm watching it, I will think to myself, oh gosh, wow, I can't believe that happened, or that, and I may not be right. It may be completely inaccurate. So in a way, it's misinforming me. I don't know. For me to think, oh well, Napoleon did this at this time, but only for someone like you to go, well, no, that didn't happen. Oh well, I suppose there's a bit of disappointment.
Maybe, but that means you're having a conversation outside of a cinema about Napoleon.
Yeah,
That's
well,
good.
exactly. That's good.
I mean, if you go to your grave thinking something happened when it didn't, but you weren't that interested, so never spoke about it, does that really matter in the
No, I suppose not.
scheme of things?
I mean, the thing is, having known about this, the inaccuracies before I saw it, I kind of just went in with an open mind, going, okay, well, I don't know what's true and what isn't. I'll just enjoy the film, which I did.
Yeah. I think, well, if it sparks discussion and you say something that is inaccurate, and then we get into a conversation about it, or even better, if it piques your interest and you actually pick up a book, and listeners, I shall mention a few books. There are so many. I've put a link into my 6 best books on Napoleon, and these range from biographies to focusing on a particular campaign, to focusing on Josephine, to focusing on Napoleon's love of gardening, which didn't feature in the film, and also talking about some of one of his great opponents, who he never met, but Toussaint Louverture of the Caribbean island of Haiti, who led the Haitian Revolution. These books, if you are interested in Napoleon, take you into a massive world of a Napoleonica. And
I think I would recommend also putting a link to the screenplay that Stanley Kubrick wrote, because that was a passion project of his. I mean, it's kind of renowned, I think, that he got so involved in the research for this film called Napoleon. I mean, it became an obsession that I don't know if we mentioned it on our last podcast or when we spoke about Napoleon last time, but he had cards filed in cabinets for every single day that Napoleon was alive, and on each one he knew exactly where Napoleon was that day. And his pre-production was so vast. I mean, they were well into pre-production design, costume design, production design, and then the film Waterloo came out with Rod Steiger and didn't do that well at the box office, and all the financiers of Kubrick's film pulled out, so he couldn't do it. So he did Barry Lyndon instead. But it's a very interesting screenplay to read, because I would bet it's historically accurate compared to Ridley Scott's.
I don't think Ridley took the card for every single day.
I doubt it. No, I very much doubt it. Ridley Scott doesn't, or compared to what Stanley Kubrick did. Stanley Kubrick didn't make very many films. Like he did a film like every few years, so his preparation, and whereas Scott does, the next, because he doesn't write, whereas Kubrick wrote his screenplays.
Ridley Scott said about Martin Scorsese recently, I think, in an interview I read, that Scorsese's made one film since 2019. I've made 4.
Yeah. Yeah, but Martin Scorsese probably made one good one.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ridley Scott is obviously a really good director. I mean, he's had some turkeys, in my opinion, but his classics are they're classics. Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Alien. I would say his
Gladiator.
And Gladiator. I would say
we haven't mentioned Gladiator, which that drew people into the whole. I mean, that almost, I don't know if it changed cinema, but it did get people everyone got very interested in swords and sandals.
Well, that was in my opinion, that was thanks to Braveheart. Braveheart was the first epic of that scale that had really been made since maybe the 60s. And I don't think Gladiator would have happened had Braveheart not been made, because it was only just a few years before Braveheart. And Braveheart was so huge. I mean, it won all the Oscars. It really put Scottish patriotism firmly on the map. And, to this day, they paint their faces blue when something's happening at a football match or whatever. And I don't think Gladiator would have happened. Gladiator was great. I think Gladiator was Ridley Scott's last really good film. Like,
Not The Martian. The Martian.
I think The Martian is good. It's really fun. It's great, but you're not going to put it on a classics list. I don't
I think I would. It's got Sean Bean in.
Okay.
And Matt Damon.
Yeah, but I don't know about. I mean, I really enjoy The Martian as a piece of, Saturday night. Hey, it's such fun. Let's watch The Martian. Gladiator is a really great piece of cinema.
Oh, I think The Martian is definitely a great piece of cinema. I mean, the fact that it's got Sean Bean in. I'm going to mention Sean Bean again.
Again and again. Would you put The Martian on the same shelf as Blade Runner and Alien?
No, but
we're talking classic.
But I wouldn't put Gladiator on the same.
No, Gladiator's just a notch below them.
And that's where I would probably place The Martian.
Right, okay.
Maybe a bit. Maybe
I'd put it a little bit further down.
You always say that's interesting. What you actually mean is you're completely wrong.
Are you nuts? No, I like varying opinions. So what's just very quickly, so the Kubrick script, which I think would be really interesting for people to read, that was his whole life. I mean, I think the script opens when Napoleon's 9. And it really is, and it's narrated. There's a narrator, a voiceover narration, and it's not a breezy read, but I think it's really interesting, and it would have been very interesting to have seen the film. It's such a shame it never happened. Overall,
then, I despite its litany of historical inaccuracies and faux pas, I actually did really enjoy it. It's like you, so I went in thinking. I think it's the first scene. I realized. Oh, okay. So he's. I think
is it the battle?
I don't think that's the first scene. No. The first scene is the execution of Marie Antoinette. So I don't think that's giving anything in the way to. And listeners, if you're worried about spoilers, don't. I don't think it's a film you need to be that worried about spoilers. I'd be surprised if listeners to this podcast are unaware that Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo, and that is the kind of culmination of the film. So opening scene, death of Marie Antoinette, and who's in the crowd? It's our Joaquin playing Napoleon, and that's when I saw that I thought, oh, okay, well he wasn't there. He was south in Toulon fighting an individual who I'll mention in a minute, but. I realized, okay, don't get annoyed. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's helpful because it shows Napoleon seeing the chaos of the revolution and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People have got very upset that Marie Antoinette's hair is too long for the scene, or too short. Can't quite remember now. She had long hair in the scene, didn't she?
She did in the film, yeah.
Yeah. So in reality, she didn't, or it was held up. Or
it was a very good opening scene, though.
It was. Yes. And I think that's when I realized, like you, I was like, okay, just really don't get annoyed. Don't pick over this kind of stuff. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. I just had to keep on reminding me of that throughout the film.
Yeah. And the thing is that the opening scene also, I felt, that set a specific tone, which we'll get into, then sort of changes. I was like, oof, I see. This is the sort of film we're going to be in for. It's going to be pretty brutal, probably. It's going to be like really quite serious, and then things slowly changed.
I'm quite keen to watch it again because I said to you before we started recording, I think it's a comedy.
Yeah, you said this when we came out.
Yeah,
I didn't pick up as much as you did. Then I read some reviews. I read Empire's review, and I was like, oh, they thought. They didn't want to call it a comedy, but and I knew that there was humor in it, but I didn't pick up as much as you did because I think I was in maybe the opening setting got me into a mindset that I was like, right, I'm not. I'll laugh at the odd funny lines, but I didn't recognize the comedic aspects as much as you did. But then looking back, really in retrospect, I'm like, actually, yeah, it was quite comical. There are certain scenes that are very comical.
Looking back, and I think there's more and more actually. And I wasn't the only one laughing in the cinema. And it makes me think, actually, when I did walk out of the cinema and mention that to you, did you say to yourself, "Oh, that's interesting," or
I did. I went, oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
But the thing is that not one of the characters in the film thinks that they are in a comedy, if you know what I mean. It's deadly serious for them. Napoleon is super, super serious. Josephine is obviously very serious. But, like, for example, their lovemaking scenes are very funny.
yeah.
Wait, if you can call it that. Sorry, you probably can't call them lovemaking scenes. And I thought Joaquin Phoenix was excellent. But I'll be honest, this is the radical thing I have to say. And I think Ridley Scott could have done this. But of course, you need someone like Joaquin Phoenix to sell the film as well as Ridley Scott's name. But it took some getting used to, and I'm not sure I did get used to it completely, that Napoleon spoke with an American accent. It jarred me a bit because everyone else is English, except for the odd Austrian who speaks with an English with an Austrian accent, and a Russian who speaks with a Russian accent. But everyone's English, actually. And I think it would have been spot on had all the French people been French in a French language film.
Okay.
That's my point.
What about then that he's Corsican, he spoke with a Corsican accent, and then you can...
Or that.
Or, well, can you pretend that the American accent is the Corsican accent?
I don't know. Again, it's like we discussed before about the whole...
Well, it's been done before. The great Oliver Stone directed Alexander, where all the Macedonians speak in Irish accents. The Athenians and those further south speak in sort of public...
But I think, you could have done, it's like I think we're grown up in we're 21st century, grown up enough now to watch films in their actual native language. The brilliance of something like, we've mentioned it already, Inglourious Basterds, is that everyone speaks in their own language, and it's so dramatic. And the Where Eagles Dare syndrome, where everyone speaks in their, but then suddenly speaks the other language, but in the same language that they speak in real life, is crazy. And I think we can now, I know you got to suspend your disbelief, but I think now it would have been brilliant if Napoleon had been French.
Well, yeah, I think Kassovitz would have been a great Napoleon.
Yes.
Because he's quite short.
Yes, good point. I mean, and there are a number of French actors that you could have actually cast, and Ridley Scott would have sold the film. You would have put something like Marion Cotillard as Josephine or something, and it would have been brilliant. That's my argument.
I'm with you. I mean, look, to be honest, if someone's making a film about Napoleon, I'm going to watch it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And if Ridley Scott's making a film about Napoleon, I'm going to go to the cinema.
Have you seen? It's actually, he made it back to back. Clint Eastwood made 2 World War II films. One called Flags of Our Fathers, and the other called Letters from Iwo Jima. And he made them back to back. While he was making Flags of Our Fathers, he realized that, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to make a film from the Japanese perspective? And in fact, Letters of Iwo Jima, in my opinion, is better. And the whole thing is in Japanese. And it's amazing. And it's authentic. And I think one can do this.
Oh, we should do that on the... We should do this.
A double bill.
Yeah. I can think of a historian who's written about this who might be interested in that. Saul David might be up for that.
Oh, right. Fab.
Yeah.
And they're really great because, in one scene, in fact, in Flags of Our Fathers, you see it from the American point of view. And then in Letters of Iwo Jima, you see the exact same scene from the Japanese point of view. And it's really clever. You've got to... I think if you didn't know that, you wouldn't pick up on it if you watched the films, with a space of time between them. But it goes to show you can do a film in its native language, and it's great.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was saying, I would go definitely, and did go and see Ridley Scott's Napoleon, but I would have preferred a kind of, well, I'm a bit of a purist. I would have preferred, because this was a lot of fun, this film, but I would have preferred, I'd have preferred. I don't know.
But Joaquin Phoenix he's one of my favorite actors, and I do genuinely think he's one of the greatest American actors working today. And he's always been good. I don't think he's ever been bad. I'm not that he would ever be bad, but he's so good and so watchable. But he's great in the film. But it was just a little niggling thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So we've talked about the historical side. What else have we've talked about the whole feel. So yeah, you. I think you need to have another watch to be convinced as to whether it's a comedy or
Yes,
not.
I do, and I will watch it when it streams at its 4-hour length that he's planning on doing.
So it was 3.5 hours, wasn't it?
No, 2 hours 38.
Oh right, so he's going to 4 hours.
Yeah, he's doing a cut that I think that they're going to stream on whatever they're going to stream it on. Yeah, which I will definitely watch and most likely recognize as a comedy. But I mean, I don't know if you could say Napoleon comedy on IMDb or Wikipedia if they'd ever say Napoleon is a historical comedy film based on the life of Napoleon and his exploits and with Josephine, etc. But regardless of that, it's extraordinary looking. The production design, the costumes are phenomenal, and the battle sequences, one in particular, are brutal and properly hard hitting. I thought great use of cannon fire on frozen lakes.
Yes. Yeah, so we get, what do we get? We get Toulon, the Battle of Toulon. We get the Battle of the Pyramids. We get the Battle of Austerlitz. We get the Battle of Waterloo. I think I'm missing one out. There were 5 battles in there, I think.
Yeah, and they're really well constructed. Because I think we're sort of desensitized now to fighting and in films. I mean, battles and war. But I would say that Ridley Scott has done, I don't want to say something fresh, but there were aspects of the battles that I thought, wow, oh God, that hit me hard. I didn't see that coming.
I thought the Austerlitz was a bit, okay, so it's interesting. I wasn't that keen on the Battle of Austerlitz. For a start, I don't know what's going on with the obsession with everyone, every second tent having a massive tricolor flying over the.
Oh, that didn't really bother me.
Well, every army's every second or third man is carrying a massive flag representing who they are, which I assume is for the audience, so we know just in case.
But this is French. Yeah, because they all speak English, so they have to. They have to have some sort of identifying mark.
Yeah. I thought Toulon was brilliant though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my ancestor Samuel Hood was the naval admiral in sitting in his boat in the bay who actually it was the land forces that lost Toulon. I'll have you know, it was nothing that Admiral Hood could have done. He did everything that he could. Right. He is blameless. I thought the Siege of Toulon was really, really good. Yeah, I agree. His horse getting hit and it's fantastic. Yes, yeah, that was really good. And I think the pyramids, by the way, there was this thing. I don't mean to say I approve of horses being killed for enjoyment. I mean, it showed the realism of the battle. Yes. Yeah. He and I know there was a bit of an uproar with the pyramid, and he shoots. Yeah, so that's why I think it's a comedy. But I think, wasn't that in his mind? Well, how do you know what's in Napoleon's mind? I don't know. I just felt that is that him imagining. I guess it's symbolic of his victory at that particular battle. Yeah. Although the campaign itself ended in defeat. One thing that I came out of the film feeling that it was lacking was I came out thinking, I thought that he was an extraordinary strategist. And I don't feel I got that enough. And I don't know whether that was Ridley Scott going, well, I didn't plan to show you that he was an extraordinary military strategist. But I do think that that's something that he's known for. Yeah, it is. And so I was like, oh, well, I want to see, I'd love to see him properly at work, figuring stuff out. And there was sort of touched upon it a little bit, but not, I kind of went, well, that's why he lost in the end. Well, so I think Austerlitz is his masterpiece, but I don't think that they portrayed it particularly accurately.
I think that he says one couple of things like wait until they're I can't remember now, but wait until they're further forward or something. And I was like, well, I wanted to see the chess.
Yes. Him. Well, he does that at the end, which is slightly laughable.
A little bit, but yeah,
with Waterloo and the 100-Day Campaign, where he opens up the map. He has the map, and I think he's in Paris at the time, and he goes, right, well, we will fight them here at Waterloo.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get on to most inaccurate scene, but that's probably the least of the faux pas of the Ridley Scott.
Right. But I suppose it's because he also wanted to concentrate on Joe's relationship with Josephine and who maybe he was as a human being, which, sometimes there were very funny things, but were maybe insightful to the character, like when he walks into a room with Josephine there and he's basically starts making very odd noises, which is, kind of hinting that he wants some sort of sexual activity. And it's interesting. That's interesting. No, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good Ridley Scott film, but there are bits I was like, but what do you want us to get out of this exactly? But, because it's called Napoleon. So you think, okay, do I know him any better? I don't know. I need to watch it again, actually, to be honest.
I mean, it's very difficult. There's loads of additional reading you can do about the relationship between Napoleon and Josephine. But I thought they had quite a good crack at showing that they had, there was a lot of affection.
Yes.
But also quite practical regarding the coronation. That was quite accurately done, actually.
Yeah. Their relationship was very good. Well done. I mean, well portrayed. Definitely got Josephine's depression, morose nature, and the friction between them are really well done. And he was kind of like, you really got that he was an oddball. Or at least that's what I felt. I just like great lines, like when he's talking to the Brits, oh, you think you're all so great because you've got boats.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's why that to me that's a comedic line.
Yeah.
But it does show a kind of petulant narcissism that Napoleon possessed.
I agree.
Zamoyski's spoken about this when I spoke to him about the invasion of Russia, which is shown in the film. And obviously they focus on the winter, but listeners should be interested that the summers that the army had to go through were pretty horrific. But anyway, Zamoyski's spoken about the sheer lack of empathy that Napoleon. Empathy was not something that he possessed, which is why him and Tsar Alexander fought. Just couldn't put himself in Tsar Alexander's shoes to see this campaign. It'll only end in war, and he won't give up, because that would mean effectively Tsar Alexander killing himself. But yeah, I think it was quite good at that kind of thing. Plus his rather boorish behavior in front of other monarchs.
Yes, very true.
That was really well done as well.
Yeah, that really came across, his sort of petulance and his arrogance in a way.
Now the French are up in arms, and listeners may know that I have a love-hate relationship with my French listeners. They hate me, I love them.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
But it's just been I've covered a few battles: Waterloo, Crécy, Poitiers, Agincourt's coming up. But French listeners, if there are any listening, they will be aware that I think it's been described as a kind of Anglo-Saxon portrayal of Napoleon.
Yeah.
Therefore, unflattering.
Of course.
Yeah. Right. So should we do our categories?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get on to those. Right. So these are recent listeners, since JFK, which was our epic discussion. And I dived into a little bit more conspiracy in last week's podcast. John Elledge about the history of conspiracies. We chatted a little bit about JFK. I'm just plugging my own podcast here. But I brought your name up, Tim, as a historian of conspiracy. I asked him what he thought of someone like you, who does not believe that Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK. And so we briefly discussed that. Anyway, the Zapruder Award for Best Scene. Now, my nominations were The Siege of Toulon.
I would definitely agree with that.
The Coup.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Any scene with Napoleon and Josephine together, because they're just so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then finally, this most ridiculous. Finally, the scene with it's quite short, but he's having an English breakfast, chatting with some midshipmen.
I knew you were going to. So, I would have said this one as well.
So those are my nominations.
That's towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end. Are there any that you would include?
I was going to say I really like the opening scene.
Yeah, with
Marie Antoinette. Yeah.
I can't include it because I know that he wasn't there, so it seems a bit. Although it's quite good showing Marie Antoinette being executed.
Yeah, it's nothing. I'm not like
the sort of power of the mob.
Yeah, and it was just the feeling it created. I sort of wish that the rest of the film had just kept that sense, that overall dread, because it does. This anticipation is great, but I would say Austerlitz I thought was cinematically very well done.
Okay, yeah. So that's your nomination, for Austerlitz. So we have to get.
Would have been one.
Yeah. I mean, the Coup was great because the Coup.
The Coup was brilliant.
And Napoleon's just sort of the Joaquin's version of Napoleon is showing his sort of. Don't know how to describe it. I mean, is that petulance, isn't it?
Yeah, but he like I was going to say actually, this is one with Josephine, so it's kind of the under the nomination of all scenes with Josephine, but it's when they're having dinner with guests, and they start having an argument, and it's brilliant. It's really good, actually, that scene.
I mean, Vanessa Kirby is fantastic.
Yeah, she's very, very, very good in this. I think it was meant to be Jodie Comer.
Really?
Yeah, and then something happened, a scheduling or something. I can't remember. But
so Vanessa Kirby is known for playing the young Princess Margaret.
Yes.
First
and then now she's in the Mission Impossibles.
In the first few series of The Crown. In Mission Impossible now, right. She really held her own, and more so, to be honest, and we'll get on to best performances. I think I know who my nomination is, but yeah, she's absolutely fantastic. And I think that's the thing about this film. It's it's good to see a really powerful female character in a film that's about a general. Right.
And pretty much men the whole way through.
Yeah, loads of men. We'll talk now. We're kind of saving Rupert Everett for later because we can briefly mention it. But some people have said he was really good. I
thought he did his job, but I know what you're going to say. We'll get on to that though.
Yeah, right. So the best scene. So Siege of Toulon. The Coup was really good.
The Coup is really good.
But I think it's the scenes to me, and I know it's more than one, but. I think maybe you've picked it, the scene in the dinner with Josephine.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I've got to mention the cinematography. It's very good because I think he was taking it. Well, I don't know. To be honest, I'm like completely wrong, but I want to say he's taking a leaf out of Kubrick's design for Barry Lyndon, where all of the interior scenes at night were shot by candlelight, and that's it. No artificial lights other than that. So I'm curious whether that actually did happen. I'm not sure.
Interesting to know that because I read some criticism that the film was shot. It was too dark. You didn't see the colors of clothing.
Maybe it's because I don't know. I sort of want to say I don't think Ridley Scott is that much of a kind of perfectionist and innovator, if that's the word, innovator. Whereas Kubrick, had these lenses designed specifically for that, so that the aperture was really open and you could get as much light from just candles. So I don't know, but it did look nice. Let's be honest, it looked amazing.
And you've mentioned Barry Lyndon. Ryan O'Neill recently died.
Yeah, really sad.
I just love Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's so good. Well, yeah, nothing like that, unfortunately. Argo Award for most inaccurate scene. Now we can be here all day on this.
Right. The film.
Yes, the entire film.
And the war goes to Napoleon.
There are so many,
Yeah.
but
You're going to have to choose this because this is.
I think the most egregious, and there are so many, but I think the most egregious is the Battle of Waterloo. Is just it's so ridiculous.
I mean, how long would it take for you to explain exactly how?
Well, it looks like he waits till 5 p.m. before he starts the battle because it's raining.
Yeah.
I mean, it did delay him, but not by that much. Wellington, played by Rupert Everett, is. We'll get on to.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a okay, fine. The the British army, or the Allied army, I should really say, is all sort of in World War One type trenches, and then when the cavalry attacks, the French cavalry attack, they leave their trench and go and make squares in front of their trenches.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the battle, a rifleman, which I assume is a nod to Sharp, has a. I didn't look closely enough to see if it actually was a Baker rifle, but it has a rifle with what looked like a telescope strapped to it as a kind of telescopic sight.
Yes, I do remember that.
And he asks,
and he's saying, yeah, go on.
Yeah, he asks Wellington's permission to shoot Napoleon.
Yeah.
Which okay, of course that never happened. And the Baker rifles, whilst it was accurate, I think up to about 200 meters or something, or 200 yards, it was just laughable that it would be able to reach. And of course that didn't happen, but I think it's inspired by the film Waterloo, where
okay,
the artillery officer asks the Christopher Plummer's Wellington, who's brilliant as Wellington, can we open fire on Napoleon? Then it looks as though, and then Napoleon takes part in the cavalry charge at Waterloo, and then the Prussians arrive from the wrong direction.
I found, in general, which is slightly disappointing, I found the Battle of Waterloo decidedly underwhelming. And I felt that regardless of anything, I just felt it should have been something, because it's the climax of the film. It should have been something a little bit more interesting. They could have done something, maybe made it accurate, and it would have been interesting. I don't know. But
I feel, okay, one thing I should say, it's very difficult for Ridley Scott, with that Sergei Budnerek film, if I pronounced his surname correctly, Waterloo.
Yeah.
I think at the time, that director, he commanded the fourth largest army in the world. He had a whole bunch of Soviet troops at his disposal for the battle, for the Waterloo film, and it's pretty accurate. And that's 2 hours set on one battle.
Yeah.
I think it's almost impossible for Ridley Scott to reach those heights.
Well, that's true, but
all those things I've outlined, he could have not done.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, I think it's obvious.
There are other little things here and there, like the Union flag in 1796 is it seems as though Ireland has joined the Union 5 years early.
We see a lot of, we talked about that soon after we came out, didn't we? But there's a lot of that in films, actually, and it's simply because no one would know.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, because if you put a weird flag in, people will go, "What's that?
What's that?" It's like, so that we need to go, that's
the
Britain.
Basque flag?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that there have been examples where there haven't been enough. There were too many stars on the American flag in certain historical films, and you're like, well, that state hadn't joined yet, and that, but you know what? I guess.
I mean, a few other things. There was never a kind of let's test to see if you're still fertile or not by having sex with the nearest teenager.
Yes, that was a bit of an odd one.
Although he did have a child, Alexander, out of wedlock with a Polish aristocrat, I think.
Well, I think Waterloo is pretty much
Waterloo was pretty bad. Yeah.
Very bad.
So the
mhm,
Argo Award for most inaccurate scene goes to the Battle of Waterloo. The
mhm.
Simon Award for best performance.
Simon
For
Baker.
me, only one. It's Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah, I think as much as I love Joaquin Phoenix and I thought he was great, you know, I think Vanessa Kirby had more of a challenge, not taking anything away from Phoenix's performance and the fact that he's almost in every scene anyway. But you know, it's a really great performance for something you would think actually maybe on page wouldn't have been that much to work with because she's kind of the damsel in distress, you know, but she really made it a rounded, meaty character.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, so I mean, it was horrible. Some bits were just quite upsetting. You know, she's not a happy bunny.
No, but it's really, really well layered character. You know, Josephine had been through a lot as well. She was in the Bastille, and
yeah,
her husband, I think, was executed, and it's fantastic. There's a really good book by Kate Williams called Josephine, all about Josephine.
About Josephine. And it's lovely when he brings his child to the lakeside and she carries. She's really
that
good
was accurate. They got that right.
Yes. Well
actually,
done,
yeah,
then.
you know, you're right. That's a really nice scene, and
she really doesn't say anything in it much, if anything. I assume, but she just the look she gives this really, really, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the comedy, they did there were a few lines in there that I thought were just so comedic, but one that they missed out on was "Not tonight, Josephine." If only had said,
yes, then
right,
it would have been a comedy for sure.
Gary Oldman Award for Best Supporting Performance. Okay, it's not going to Rupert Everett. I thought it was parody.
No, I mean, yeah, and
he was playing
a bit of a blip, but he was. Yeah, you're right.
To me, he was playing Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry's Duke of Wellington in Blackadder.
Yeah.
Like a parody of a parody.
Yeah.
I mean, he's too old.
Yes, you didn't have mentioned this yet. You said Wellington, of course, isn't. He was
Napoleon and Wellington
age,
the same age.
Yeah.
So they got the age of Napoleon about right. Joaquin is around the same age for part of the film. But Wellington was not nearly 70.
No. Supporting. I mean, I love Tahar Rahim as an actor. He's brilliant. French.
He's excellent. Yeah.
From
A
Prophet. And we talked briefly about the Looming Tower, the TV series that he's in. TV series.
TV series. Yeah.
And he's just brilliant. And actually, I thought he was really great in this as well.
Yeah, he plays Paul Barras, his sort of
Napoleon. Couldn't he have played Napoleon?
Napoleon's benefactor. Yeah, he easily could have played Napoleon.
And he could have done it in French, and it would have been brilliant.
Yeah. I quite liked the Scottish actor. Mark Bonnar played Juno.
Right. Yes.
And I mean, their missed opportunity with the actor who plays Marshall Ney. However, Marshall Ney, that was John Hollingworth. Marshall Ney, I guess he's such a charismatic figure, it might have detracted from Napoleon himself, so I can understand why.
Right.
But yeah, supporting, I guess there's Tahar Rahim is probably the numero uno. Ben Miles is playing Colin Court.
Yeah.
They're all kind of in and out, and they disappear. You don't see them again, do you?
Not really. He sort of comes through the film sporadically. It would have been nice if Mark Bonnar had been in it more because he was really good. But I think I would probably go with Tahar. Is that how we're pronouncing it correctly? Tahar.
Yeah, let's go with Tahar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he deserves it from being great and then every other things as well.
Okay, so he wins the Gary Oldman Award for Best Supporting Performance. I mean, Napoleon's mother's in it very briefly. Is it Sinead Cusack? Love her.
Yes, yeah.
But other than that, I can't really think of anyone. It's really about the main two.
Yeah, I agree.
And Rupert Everett. I mean, the other inaccurate scene, I just get this in because it's just so glaringly wrong, is Napoleon and Wellington meeting on HMS Bellefonte.
Right. Yes.
I need to get it out of my system, relax. It was just a fun film. Legacy rating. So it's got lots of people up in arms in the history world. It's I don't know. How are we looking at attendance?
This is difficult because, well, I mean, actually, yeah. How are the box office? What's it doing now?
Well,
I mean,
as of a couple of days ago, Napoleon grossed over 53 million in the US and Canada, and 117 million. So that's just over a shade over 171 million dollars so far. Okay. Now I think it cost 200 million to make.
Or up to 200. Is it actually 200?
It's all very. You never really know because so much is spent on marketing, and is that how much is included?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, so does that mean it maybe not? It hasn't broken even yet?
I think it's a 200 million budget. I think it's about to reach that, but there are some people who argue these films need to make double that for the studio or the streamer or whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
For them to be even think it's a success. So who knows?
Well, I mean, legacy is tricky because what is going to happen? Is it going to be remembered? I mean, it depends what we mean as legacy as well, because what is it going to be remembered for the film that was inaccurate?
I think it's already made waves because when was the last time we saw a film based on Napoleon? I mean, there was that Ian Holm film where he plays Napoleon in St. Helena. That's very good.
Yeah.
Time Bandits.
And
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
And yes, that's another one. And Love and Death, Woody Allen film.
I haven't seen
that. 75.
And then, of course, Waterloo. Abel Gance.
Yes, of course.
Napoleon. But yeah, it doesn't. And probably in lots of films, French films that I should have watched but haven't.
Well, I would.
But I think it's made
okay
waves.
On that alone. Then it's
like, so we say it's just a solid 3 out of 5.
Okay, fine, that's good.
I don't think it's going to do what our last film JFK did, which
no. The thing is that
influenced also... US democracy.
No, exactly, and changed, or rather, made forced investigations based purely on the fact that it proposed a very convincing conspiracy.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you're thinking after all that, oh my God, it is this historical car crash, I'm not going to go and see it. I think you'd be wrong. Go and see it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh no, it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, really, really good fun film. It's a sort of sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Yeah, I agree
very much.
And I will watch it again when it's being streamed.
I'm keen to watch it again. So, thanks, Tim. Next month we're going to be doing to commemorate the on the anniversary of the Wannsee Conference, so this is not a fun topic. This is the meeting amongst the bureaucratic upper echelons of the Nazi regime in 1942, January, I think it was. And well, it was January. I'm not sure if it was 1942 or 41. 42, I think, when the Holocaust was put into action. And this is a film that was made over 20 years ago, starring Kenneth Branagh and Stanley Tucci. So we're going to have Roger Moorhouse who's going to join us.
And Colin Firth.
Is he joining us?
Not to join. Sorry, he's in it.
He is. It's an all-star. There are loads of great British actors in it, actually.
Yeah. And it's it's perfectly in keeping with our favorite thing that they're all British, one American playing Germans.
Yes. And it's one of your favorite things. It's an ensemble cast.
Yeah. Actually, I do believe it was made for TV.
It is, yeah. So that means it, yeah. So and we haven't discussed Oscars because obviously we don't know about Oscars, but for Napoleon. But what do we think about Napoleon's chances in the Oscar category?
I don't think it's gonna pick up many.
I think Vanessa Kirby should get a nomination.
I think she'll probably get a nomination. Judging by the Golden Globes, I don't know if you've seen them, the nominations. I don't think she's.
I think the winner, whilst you're doing that, I think
it's not.
The clear nominations are going to be Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer. I should imagine will really dominate.
Yeah, so I assume that I mean, Barbie's leading the way in the Golden Globe nominations, but I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure whether it should swoop Oscars, but whatever.
Have you seen
I think
Barbie?
no, I will. But I think we're pretty keen on Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon was, I think it's got a good chance of stuff, but I don't think Napoleon will be high on the list.
No. Okay. Well, as I said, next month it's conspiracy. But Tim, thank you. Happy Christmas.
Thank you so much. Happy Christmas to you and to all the listeners.
Listeners, thanks so much for listening to our film club this year. This is our final one of the year.
Yeah, it's been such great fun.
It's been a riot. We really enjoyed it. We're going to carry on with films next year.
Mm-hmm. I'm plugging. Sorry, starting with conspiracy.
Starting with conspiracy. What are you plugging?
And I'm plugging for the anniversaries coming in February for the deaths of John Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde. So I'm plugging for Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway as a double bill, along with Public Enemies with Johnny Depp.
Michael Mann. Love a bit of Michael Mann.
Michael Mann, yeah.
Great. Well, also coming up this year in 2024, it's the 20th anniversary of the release of Alexander.
Ollie's favorite film.
Yeah, one of. And also the anniversary in September will be the 80th anniversary of the Operation Market Garden. So I think we're going to have a Bridge Too Far action.
Yeah, and that will be a great discussion.
Yes. Okay, listeners, thanks again. And I will be speaking to you next week, but Tim won't. Tim will be speaking to you next year.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Thanks so much for listening. This is the penultimate episode before Christmas Day. But thanks for all your listening so far this year. Please share, rate and review. And in the meantime, thank you and good night.